Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be a bit of a rant video, so you have been warned. I'm going to be talking about the worst book covers that I own. Now I have read all of these books, so I'm going to give you a synopsis of the books, like little mini reviews, and then talk about why these covers do nothing for the books. Book covers that I cannot stand is book covers that have nothing to do with the book, that don't add anything to the story, that have nothing to do with the story. That really winds me up. So I'm just going to get straight into it. First up is a very, very famous book. This is The Amityville Horror by J. Anson, and there's this book and then it got turned into a major film, and on this front cover it says, now a spine-chilling movie, and this is what they brought out. It's just been turned into a major film. I mean, what? It looks like a VHS tape, doesn't it? It's just ugly. It's this grey colour and then these like red kind of stripes, but I don't know if they're supposed to be like the devil's tail, like fork-tailed. I'm not even sure. Like, it just does nothing for it. I also think this looks very much like a textbook. It doesn't really look like a best-selling horror novel. I hate it. Next up I have Willful Creatures by Amy Bender. This is a magical realism short story collection. Absolutely love this short story collection. Fantastic, so magical, and there's one in it where people have like pumpkins for heads, but it's done in such a good way that it's not silly. You're really invested in these like pumpkin head people. I'm not even joking, it's so good. Now this front cover is a child. It is a boy holding locks. If I knew nothing about this book and I just looked at the front cover, I would think it was an abuse story. He's being held in captivity, it's going to be a terrible abuse of this young boy. Like, it just doesn't work for me. And I think when you use children on the front covers of books, you have to be so careful, because so many abuse storybooks have a picture of a child on the front cover looking very sad. So if you use an image of a child looking sad, like his boy in the picture looks confused, he's holding locks, he looks a bit scared, and it is relevant to one of the stories within this, but I just think it was the wrong thing to pick. They could have chosen, like, there's a pumpkin headed person, the pumpkin head could have been in it, but I think this just, it says child abuse to me. I don't like it at all. Next up I have front covers that I don't have a problem with the design of them, I have a problem with the stupidity of what's within the design. So this is Anne Cassidy. Anne Cassidy is like a YA crime novel. So there'll always be a teenage girl and something happens to her, some kind of true crime happens around her or to her, and it's how she deals with it. It's really, really good. Like, the stories really kind of go there. If you're into true crime, you'll really like these stories because it's really hard hitting. So the cover designs is that you have a block cover, and then with newspaper clippings they have some kind of pattern to do with the story. No problem with that design at all. Like, I don't mind cheesy covers, I'm not like bad about them. So love letters I've got Looking for JJ, Guilt Trip, and then we got Missing Judy. So they're all the same cover design, completely fine, don't mind. Even though they're not a series, however, none of the girls interlink or anything, I don't mind that cover design. Tell you what I do mind though, is in the cover design here, in the newspaper clippings, it has spoilers to the book. I'm not even joking you. So in love letters here, I'm reading it and it's about some girl who's getting some love letters from a mysterious person who she thinks it's her best friend's brother, who is sending her these love letters because she really likes him. And then you read the newspaper clipping on the front and it tells you who's been sending her letters. What? Like, it literally spoils the plot. Looking for JJ. It's about a girl who committed a crime when she was a child. She has now done her time in prison. She has come out of prison, and throughout the whole book you're working out, what is this crime she did as a child? Was it to another child? What was that all about? Read the newspaper clippings, it tells you the crime she did. It's a spoiler. Like, I honestly don't understand how this got approved, how this was found. Oh, that's okay. Like, I'm gonna move on because otherwise I'm gonna rant all day. But I think that is so dumb. It's so stupid. The actual initial design with these paper cut, fine, I don't care. The spoiler within it really winds me up. Next up we've got someone who definitely needs a new cover artist, and she must use the same person for all her covers. It's good old Jodi Picoult. I love Jodi Picoult. Really interesting books, really deal with hard-hitting subjects, really enjoy her writing, everything. Covers, ugly. Let me just say that her newest book that's just come out, I'll put like a picture of the cover here, it's really good. So she obviously has got a new cover design person now, really good, loving it. But these photographic covers that she does are absolutely hideous. So first up we have Lone Wolf, which is about a man who goes into intensive care and his daughter wants to keep his life support machine on and hopes that he comes out of his coma, and his son would like to turn the life support machine off. What's that about? Like, it's a man, although it looks like a boy in like a tartan lumberjack shirt, and then there's a piece of wood and there's a candle in a glass on the piece of wood and there's a few flowers. Like, what? Like, there's nothing to do with this. What is this about? Like a hospital bed or something else? Or it's called Lone Wolf because he's very much the dad who's in intensive care. It's very much a man who does what he wants. He's always been very independent. What's that about? It's like interpretive dance but for book covers. I don't get that one at all. Next up we have Change of Heart, which is about your daughter needs a new heart. The only match comes from a murderer who's on death row. Would you give her that murderer's heart? When he dies on death row, he will give her his heart. Would you do that or not? It's a little girl's feet with crushed eggs. With what? Again, like, it's not anything to do with the plot, so I don't really understand how they got there. My favourite Jodie Picoult is The 10th Circle, and this is about a girl, she's 14 years old, and she says to her parents that she has been raped. And throughout the story we find out what happened at this party, what was the whole situation that was going on. And her parents see her as very much someone who hasn't even had sex, but she has had sex before, and so they're coming to terms with that as well, that she's not like a child anymore, she's 14 years old. And at the beginning of each chapter there is a cartoon strip, because her dad is a cartoon artist, and the cartoon strips are about him saving his daughter from Dante's 7 Circles of Hell. And very much within the story the dad is trying to save his daughter from going into a deep depression. Really fabulous book. What the hell is that? It's snow, and there's some flowers thrown on the snow and a man walking away from the flowers thrown on the snow. It's like interpretive dance for book covers, isn't it? It's like, what? That tells you nothing about the story, but it doesn't even give you, like, it's such a good book. It's a really great book, and it's really kind of poetic the way it's written in certain places, really gorgeous, about girls coming of age and their parents not wanting to accept that, and then their parents kind of demonising them for coming of age, and then obviously she's been raped as well, and so dealing with all that. Really done well, this book. The cover is hideous. It's awful. Hate it. And the problem with my Jodie Picoult, like those covers, and a lot of her books do have photographic covers, it must be the same person who does them all, is the books are really good. It just doesn't add anything to the story. It's not going to make people really want to pick up that book, and that's what annoys me, because those books are so good. It doesn't show the book's full potential to you. Oh, God. Next up I have a book, again, absolutely love this book. We need to talk about Kevin by Lionel Schreiber. This is a series of letters that a woman is writing to her ex-husband, and she is saying to him, we had a son together called Kevin. Kevin has done some terrible crime, but you don't know what. Let's talk about Kevin's childhood. Is there something we did wrong in his childhood? Is there something that led to this crime? And her husband never writes back to her. It's just her writing to him all these letters and really going back in time to talk about Kevin. Fabulous book. It got turned into a fabulous movie as well with Tilda Swinton in it. Fabulous. This cover, however, looks like Damien from The Omen. Pointless. So Kevin doesn't really attach himself to his mother. He's not really very nice to her, and he has this kind of hatred for her, but we don't know why. There's no real reasoning for it. And so this is such an obvious cover to get like a little boy, and this isn't from the movie either, to get a little boy like looking a little bit demon on the story, but the book is so much more than this. And also this would say to me child abuse. If I just saw the cover, I would think this is someone talking about their own personal child abuse. That's not what the book's like at all. And also this is just so good, like there's so much deeper meaning within the book, and this just doesn't do it any justice at all. It's so ugly. I hate it. Now the last book in this rant is one that's kind of, I can understand why they put this like cover on it, but and that is Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote. This has got a picture of Audrey Hepburn on the front. Now, the book came first, the book was a huge success, and then the book got turned into a massive film with Audrey Hepburn. So I get it, they've got Audrey Hepburn on the cover because she was in the well-known film. But if you've read this book, Holly Golightly looks nothing like Audrey Hepburn. Holly Golightly looks more like Marilyn Monroe than Audrey Hepburn. She is blonde, she is curvy, she's very sexual. Not what I would say. I say Audrey Hepburn's more like chic. And so to have her on the front cover, I remember I was reading the book and I'd seen the Breakfast at Tiffany's film, which is a very problematic film, let's be honest now. But I'd seen that film and then I was reading this just thinking, that's not Audrey, that's not the person on the cover though. That's not at all. So I think just for like the compatibility to the book, they should have had some kind of drawing. They shouldn't have had Audrey Hepburn on it. And that's it. That's the end of my rant. Tell me what book cover you own that you just think like doesn't fit the story. I don't mind cheesy book covers. As you know, like a lot of these that I've just shown you, they're not that they're like cheesy or old-fashioned or anything like that. I don't mind them because I buy the majority of my books from charity shops. Doesn't bother me if they're a bit cheesy, but if they've got nothing to do with the plot or I feel like they don't add anything to the story, it just infuriates me. So that is it. I will see you again very soon for another video. I just want to make a quick announcement. My announcement is that on this channel I'll be doing 3 videos a week and they'll be on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. There'll be uploads! So 3 videos a week. I hope you're as excited as I am for 2019 on my channel. If you have any video suggestions then 100% leave them down below and I'll see you again very soon for another video.